Is it just me, or are there like very few standalone family animated films? I'm here to talk about Wolfwalkers, but before I do, I just want to say that I'm so appreciative of this studio releasing wide release family 2D animated films with blatant disregard for the norm. I think a lot of people still have the opinion that 2D animation should be something reserved for TV or really young kids or weird art house films that go to festivals that you would never really put on to entertain your child. I wanted to check out Wolfwalkers because I'd heard great things about the other movies that the studio had put out, and I thought the animation looked really unique and interesting. Holy shit, this movie blew me away. This was probably the best family animated feature that I've seen in theaters for a while. Years. I had just about every emotional response under the sun while watching this movie. I laughed out loud, I wept. It was heartwarming, and it was so easy to get wrapped up in this kind of fairy tale-like magical setting. There is absolutely no reason why general audiences would not enjoy this movie. Wolfwalkers is about Robin Goodfellow, who is a young girl that lives in 17th century Ireland in a town that has a bit of a wolf problem. Wolves keep breaking into town, scaring people, eating livestock. They're bad news. So Robin's father has been tasked with clearing the woods of these wolves, and she of course wants to be just like her father and become a hunter as well. But one day, while going out to try to help her father, Robin ends up being saved by a young wolf. This young wolf is actually a young girl named Maeve. This wolf is actually a little girl that can turn into a wolf while she's sleeping. She has magical healing powers and communes with wolves, among other, magical abilities. Robin and Maeve end up forming a friendship, and from there the movie is about fear, humans' reactions to fear, and what can happen when we act on that fear instead of trying to understand each other. So it's not just the beautiful animation that I'm in love with this movie, which looks like a beautiful moving storybook, by the way. I love that it's tackling kind of a timeless issue and that the characters are all painted as something complex. They make some pretty poor choices out of fear or out of wanting to protect people that they care about. It doesn't shy away from making things appear a little more nuanced and complex, and I really, really appreciate that. Obviously, things are always going to be changing, but at least for feature films that are animated, I think people still hold this idea that everything needs to be kind of brought down to a child's level of understanding to make it a little bit easier or gentler for them so that it can be more of an entertainment device rather than a tool for learning. It's like you can't have both. Like you can't have something that actually has a good, meaty story and also be something that you can throw on for your kids to keep them entertained for an afternoon. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is because it's a weird attitude and I don't like it. And watching this movie brought me back to a time when I would be watching something animated and I'd noticed that my parents had stopped doing the dishes or whatever they were doing, and they were taking a moment to listen to where the story was at and actually watching with me. This movie isn't just entertaining, it makes you really work for its payoffs so that they feel that much sweeter at the end. It was actually really suspenseful and action-packed, as well as being magical and like a fairy tale that I think a lot of audiences, young and old, are gonna enjoy. You really care for Robin and you want her to make the good choices, being this character that's kind of caught between wanting to help her father, who is a good man, and also between this new wild world that exists out in the wilderness that she's just discovered with Maeve. That's another thing I really liked about this movie. It really is in two worlds, and one isn't painted any worse than the other, I feel. Maybe you could argue that, but Robin's father, the hunter, is not painted as someone that's evil. He's just somebody that needs to do a job and take care of his daughter. And look, I get suckered in by nuances like that and things that are just a little deeper under the surface, but this movie is also a lot of fun. There's lots here that I think that audiences of all ages can enjoy. That visualizations of the magic is beautiful and sparkly. There's adorable puppy animation. There's heart-thumping runs through the wood to upbeat music with wolves. It's It's very exciting and a lot of fun. If I could close with anything about this movie, it's that it's definitely something that you could put on to pacify your child for an afternoon, but it's going to be something that adults are going to end up wanting to watch too and be moved by as well. I am definitely going to be checking out the other movies that this studio put out. I loved this movie. I don't know what the state of the world is going to be at the time that this video is being released, but if you are able to go to the theaters to check out this movie safely, of course, then please do. Otherwise, I hope movies like this are going to be following the models of some of the bigger studios, if possible, and putting their movies out in streaming services as well as through the theaters, because I really think more people should be exposed to different styles, especially of animation, and just getting out and seeing movies like this. I want more of this. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching my review of Wolfwalkers. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.